everything that's been said thus far is all connected because, truth be told, God has manifested for all of us in only a way that each one of us can see individually. And I think I was just sitting there thinking and listening to all of what was said, and I think the most difficult thing to do sometimes is to share something that was only shared with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think our collective issue is the inability to express to someone else or to articulate to someone else what you still are struggling to articulate yourself. And I don't mean to say it even as a struggle, because I was listening to the young brother when he said the differences in terms of religion and spirituality, and I was listening to Eddie when he was expressing how God had communicated through a circumstance, and listening to UTS when you was talking about the fact that there's no disappointment in today's circumstance because today took care of today. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And my dad told me something one time that is just now starting to make sense to me. And his statement was in terms of public speaking and sharing with other people. And he said, you know, when you can know yourself that you're ready to speak before other people is when you can speak to an empty room. Because your ears are the first ears that are listening. And if you yourself aren't convinced of what you're saying, it's impossible to convince anyone else. But when you are assured of what you're saying and in tune by hearing, listening to not what your others are saying, but listening to what you are saying to others, then you're ready. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I used to struggle with wanting to measure up or feeling as if what I was saying was taken serious or there was some relevance in regards to what I was saying. So quite naturally, we can exaggerate or we can build up and put fluff on our conversation to make it appear as if it's relevant, and then people see the uncertainty in your face and that kind of diminishes the attempt. But the contrary is the same in terms of you don't have to say a lot when it's serious. When it's universal, like the word you use most frequently, T.S., is the universe. When it's universally connected with the energy that's around you, it's effortless to share with others because they're already connected. You know what I'm saying? And I think that as we go forward, the things that are needed to be done more than anything is what you were talking about, T.S., with regards to preparation. If we can really put an assertive effort into promotion, you know what? The gifts are already made available. The gifts are already in the house. The only thing we need to do is to create the intrigue. Because I think with regards to people are more apt to go to something that they're intrigued about. And when it's put out in a manner that's, even though I don't know this place, it's just something that's being said or something about what was said in terms of what's going on that I'm intrigued about and I'm going to see. You know what I mean? And once they get here, then, because you talked about those that had made commitments who are so-called quote-unquote conscious. It's like that doesn't negate or diminish their consciousness because they're not here. For whatever reason that we're unaware of, they got preoccupied. You know what I mean? But I think that I came personally because the one thing you shared a couple of days ago with regards to our connection to others. You know what? If ever we are to expect to be supported, we have to be willing to be supportive of others and be able to be as attentive on the sitting side of the mic as we are on the speaking side. You know what? Because it's amazing how when one's place is here, I want everybody's undivided attention. And I want your interest to be stoked up in terms of what I'm attempting to do, even if I ain't attempting to do nothing. But then, once we do it like this, I could care less about who's up here. You know what? It ain't me. How's that so?
You think that's ego?
I think it's a little bit of ego encompassed with ignorance, and I don't mean that in the negative sense, I just mean it in terms of being uninformed.
And you know what else?
Because I'm not aware of what.
And short attention span.
Well, I mean, I think in some sense of the cultural obstacles and oppositions that we've been put up against, that's inbred.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been trained not to be attentive with one another. And it's to the point where it's subconscious.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not in terms of I'm actually focusing on not paying attention to you. It's been geared in my psyche so long that I have to now consciously do the reverse. I have to make sure that I'm even attempting to be attentive to you, to combat the discipline or the training that I've culturally been subjected to that enabled me not to pay attention.
Can I comment on that?
Mm-hmm.
So, in my experience of being on many different stages, and platforms around the Twin Cities and elsewhere in other states, I call it microphone masturbating. Because you'll have people who get up there onto the stage or within the microphone. Seriously. They're so intoxicated with the sound of their own voice and their own presence. They're not even paying attention to the audience. They're not performing for the audience. They're doing it for themselves. It's completely, they know they're given 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10. I used to be at the Blue Now all the time. I've seen this. It's when I really paid attention. They don't pay attention to the people in the audience. They're not paying attention to the musician, the host or hostess or whomever. And then not even when they're on stage, and they give the same amount of attention as they gave to everyone else on stage, off of stage. You know, it does not, because it's about them. Those are the I be like what I say rappers. You know, I be like what I say, here I go. I be like, understand what I say. No one gets it because you don't want anyone, it's just, you know, to say you did it sometimes, right? Or for their own personification, you know, in their mental psychology, you know, and this is not right or wrong, like you said, you know, it's they've already arrived to wherever it was that they intended on going, and they just wanted to show you what that looked like, so that they could get down and continue about their journey. They weren't looking for any audience participation, acceptance, or rejection. they had already made up in their space. I mean, and this is just from my observation.
Yeah, but
But
I mean,
you know-
there's some truth, there's a lot of truth to what you said, and that,
Yeah.
and I think that we have to begin to learn how this is not just about me.
Mm-hmm.
This is about us.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can learn to appreciate that, then I become all the better in regards to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the oneness with regards to our Creator is vented through all of us. You know what I mean? But it's sad that connection is severed in more circumstances than not. And it's like what you just said with regards to anybody who has a genuine understanding of creativity and the flow of creativity knows that it's about the ones around you. And you know that you're operating in that when you have the engagement of everyone around you, as opposed to you, like you said, you just got up here. You know what? That bottom end of my voice is sounding real cool right now, so I don't even care what y'all think about. I'm just sitting here. Let me see
Just start
about
saying
that.
the ABC.
Yeah, anything. Yeah. Go ahead.
I do want to give my testimony.
And I'm gonna make sure that you have more than enough time.
It's brief too.
Well, I mean, and since you made mention to that, I'll kind of let you into my little space for just a hot second, and then I'm gonna let TS do his thing, because my life has been so fragmented. I think that's the best word that I could use with regard to life expression. Okay, I'm gonna let it get that corona, and then we'll get back to it. But my life has been so fragmented, and for a long time, I was lost in my search for me. You know what I mean? Because at the age of 5, my reality was shattered to who I thought I was, because I found out through a chance encounter, kind of like what Eddie was talking about with the circumstance with the snake. One of my cousins and I got into a fight, and I got the best of him in the fight. So when we were pulled apart, he made a comment. He's like, well, at least I know who my parents are. And at the time, they went, because I thought I did too. Until I was taken home by my parents, and then my brother and I was sat down and told that these weren't our parents. We were adopted. And it kind of threw me for a loop, a major loop. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, everything that was reality for me was dismantled in that brief moment. And it was like, okay, well, we were told that the reason why things were kept away from us was to safeguard us. And for a young kid, 5 years old, that transformed my mindset in terms of truth and lies, because it was perceived by a young kid that as long as it was for the right reasons, it's cool to lie. So I got real versed in lying, in creating false realities and all of these types of things, to the point where I myself began to accept some of my own foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until strong up in my adult years that I came to terms with that. As far as, you know what? Truth is the only thing that's important. However unsettling, however receptive it may be in terms of those who welcome it, and their sense I've been committed to it. And as a result, my life is extremely transformed for the better. You know what I mean? Because people see me for who I am, however that's depicted or rejected or whatever, and it's okay. You know, I used to take strong feelings toward rejection to the point where it changed my perception about people, and I like to think of myself as a giver. And one of the most difficult things in this timeline to be is a giver, especially when people have taken on the posture of taking. I mean, financially and a lot of other different ways, we've been forced to have to get our little piece of the rock. You know what I mean? And sometimes that can be harsh with regards to interacting with one another. But I'm on this evolution type thing. I'm evolving. TS met me early on in my what I call my research years, when I was in so much pain I had to chemically sedate myself just to deal with my surroundings. And I was so fortunate to live through that circumstance, because a lot of the people that I like to call my friends perished in that process. You know what I mean? But having succumbed to, I guess the best verbiage I could use would be having seen hell, I embraced the ideal of heaven, to be able to go to a place that is depicted as paradise and to be able to dwell therein for the duration of existence is an extremely motivating thing for me, having, like I said, having fallen into what people call the bowels of this life. You know what I mean? And I saw how we do and treat one another, and it's kind of ugly, man. But this is not a aimless babble just going on and on. This is really something serious for me anyway, in terms of getting some of the adverse effects out of dysfunctional living. You know what I mean? I had an extremely dysfunctional first marriage. Both my wife and I were addicted to narcotics, and we did a lot of negative things to one another up until just before my wife died. We snapped out of that negativity, and we had said, well, we dwelled for almost 30 years together, being abusive and negative toward one another. Let's see what it looks like to cherish one another. And just when we embarked upon that cycle, my wife's lifespan perished because of the ill effects of all of the drugs and drinking and stuff. But it taught me something with regards to the relationship that I'm now currently in with my current wife. It taught me how to cherish, embrace, and some of the things that this brother says as far as esteeming our sisters. I give my wife carte blanche. I give her a pass on everything. You know what? Whether I think she's right or wrong, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the only thing that I ever want my wife to be able to say is that I loved her unconditionally. So that's just a piece of me.
That's what's up, brother. Thank you.